My dad's last gift, a story of family, money, and tough choices. Life can change in unexpected ways. For me, it started changing when I was just 6 years old. That's when I lost my dad to an illness that took him way too soon. I'm 17 now, and sometimes I can barely remember his face without looking at photos. But what I do remember clearly is how much he cared about my future. You see, my story isn't just about losing a father. It's about a gift he left behind, a gift that's now causing my family to fall apart. Let me take you back a bit. When my dad was 9, he lost his mom, my grandmother, to medical negligence. The hospital's mistake cost her life, and after a lengthy legal battle, my grandfather, uncle, and dad were awarded a huge settlement. My grandfather, being the wise man he was, split the money between my dad and uncle. He wanted to make sure his sons were taken care of, just like my grandmother would have wanted. Then life took another turn. My dad got sick. He knew he wouldn't be around to see me grow up, so he made sure that settlement money would be there for me instead. He set up a trust with my grandfather and uncle in charge. It was his way of saying, I might not be there, but I'll make sure you're taken care of. My parents were already separated when Dad died. My mom eventually moved on, marrying a good guy about 9 years ago. He came with a son of his own, my stepbrother, who's just a year younger than me. They also had 2 more kids together, my half-siblings. We're what you'd call a modern blended family. Life hasn't been easy for any of us. My stepbrother has a medical condition that's drained his college savings. His mom isn't in the picture, and neither is her family. My half-siblings are still young, but they don't have any college savings either. Times are tough for everyone. Now here's where things get complicated. I've decided not to go to college. It's not because I'm lazy or don't value education, it's because I've found my calling in trade work. I'm good with my hands, I love practical problem solving, and honestly, the idea of being in debt for a 4-year degree just doesn't make sense for me. My mom wasn't thrilled about my decision. She's been pushing college for almost 2 years, but I haven't changed my mind. Finally, she accepted it, or so I thought. That's when the real drama started. My mom and stepdad came to me with what they thought was a perfect solution. Since I wasn't using the inheritance for college, why not let my step and half-siblings use it? They even offered to have them pay it back if I insisted, though they suggested I could just give it to them as a good brother. The money could easily cover college costs with some left over if managed well. It's the kind of money that could change someone's life. But here's the thing, it already was meant to change a life. Mine. I said no. I didn't hesitate, I didn't stutter. Just no. Mom asked me why, and I told her straight. This is my inheritance from Dad. I could buy a house with it. I could secure my future with it. I could save it for my own kids someday. I'm not risking losing it when Dad specifically set this up to secure my future. That's when she hit me with the guilt trip. Your father would want you to do this. He'd want you to be a good brother. I couldn't help but ask her, do you really think he'd want the money he got from losing his mom to be used on kids that aren't his? Kids he never even knew would exist? Her response? They're not random kids to you, so yes. The tension in our house is thick now. My step-siblings don't fully understand what's happening, but they know something's wrong. My stepbrother won't look me in the eye anymore. Mom keeps telling me to give it more consideration. But here's what they don't understand. This isn't just money to me. It's the last thing my dad could do for me. It's his final act of love, his way of being there for my future, even though he couldn't be here in person. Sometimes I lie awake at night, wondering if I'm being selfish. But then I remember my dad's face in those few photos I have, and I know he wanted this money to secure my future, whatever path I chose. So no, I won't give up my inheritance. Not because I don't care about my step-siblings, but because sometimes protecting what's rightfully yours isn't selfish. It's honoring the wishes of those who loved you enough to plan for your future.